You've been eating wrong your whole life, and the food industry paid scientists to make sure you keep doing it. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's documented history. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which 5 nutrition lies are quietly wrecking your health right now and what to do instead. One of them is something most people eat every single day without a second thought. I'll get to that last. Whoa! Let's start with the oil in your kitchen. Look at your cooking oil. If it's sunflower, soybean, corn, or canola oil, here's what you're actually looking at, a product that went through a refinery. What comes out is a clear, neutral-looking liquid that costs 99 cents a bottle. And that price tag tells you everything. The problem isn't just the industrial process. It's what these oils do to your body on a biochemical level. Your body needs omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids in roughly a 1:1 ratio. But these seed oils are loaded with omega-6. And the average person in Germany already has a ratio closer to 1,000 or 1,005. In the US, it's worse. Some estimates go up to 1,000. Here's the critical thing most people miss. You can't fix that ratio just by adding more omega-3. You have to reduce the omega-6. It's a ratio. And seed oils aren't everything. Protein bars marketed as healthy, crackers, baby formula, nearly every vegan alternative product. Every single time you eat something processed, you're likely pushing that ratio further in the wrong direction. There's also something called the Israeli paradox. In Tel Aviv, seed oil consumption is among the highest in the world, and saturated fat consumption is among the lowest, exactly what mainstream nutrition says you should do. Yet that population has one of the highest rates of cardiovascular disease on the planet. That's not a paradox if you understand the actual biochemistry. That's cause and effect. What to do tomorrow? Replace your cooking oil. Use butter. Use coconut oil. Use a high-quality olive oil, one that's still slightly green, not the pale yellow stuff. These aren't just better options. For most people, this single switch is the highest leverage nutritional change they can make. Now let's talk about something that hits your brain's reward system harder than most people realize. Sugar is not just a food. Research increasingly treats it like a substance. When you consume sugar, your dopamine system responds. That's not a metaphor, that's what happens in your brain. And just like with nicotine, once that reward pathway gets wired to sugar, breaking it requires actual effort. The bigger issue is that you're probably consuming far more than you think. Sugar hides under over 100 different names on ingredient labels. No added sugar on a package? Check the first ingredient. It might be maltodextrin, which has a higher glycemic index than table sugar. Your blood glucose spikes faster. Your insulin spikes faster. You crash harder. And then you crave more. That's not weakness. That's the mechanism working exactly as designed. And here's what makes it worse. Sugar is a vitamin B1 thief. Your body has to metabolize it, which depletes your B1 stores. So high sugar intake doesn't just add empty calories, it actually pulls micronutrients out of your system. You're not at zero. You're in the negative. Children's squeeze pouches, those healthy fruit pouches parents give kids, are concentrated glucose, fructose bombs. Pasteurized to the point where vitamins are largely destroyed. No fiber. No polyphenols. Just a fast sugar delivery system. Real fruit has fiber, polyphenols, and compounds we probably haven't even identified yet. There's no comparison. What to use instead? Fruit. Honey. Maple syrup. Not because they're magic, but because they come embedded in a natural matrix your body recognizes. That's the difference. Now here's where things get uncomfortable. because this lie has been told to you by doctors. Saturated fat is dangerous. Butter is poison. Coconut oil will kill you. You've heard it. You've probably believed it. Margarine is one molecule away from plastic. That's not hyperbole, that's chemistry. And trans fatty acids, which were widespread in margarine at the time, are now scientifically confirmed to increase cardiovascular risk and Alzheimer's risk with every gram consumed. They've since been banned in several countries. But it took a decade of people getting sick first. Here's the evolutionary argument. Saturated fat is your body's primary storage fat. When you fast, which we all agree is healthy, saturated fatty acids are released from fat tissue into your bloodstream. If saturated fat were actually toxic, then fasting would be poisoning you. That's the logical endpoint of the mainstream position. It doesn't hold. And there's more. In atherosclerotic plaques, the buildup in arteries, researchers consistently find polyunsaturated fatty acids. Not saturated fat. Most none. In 1948, the American Heart Association received $2 million from Unilever. Shortly after, seed oils got the heart-healthy label that many products still carry today. Coconut oil, which Unilever couldn't produce domestically, was specifically targeted as dangerous. The campaign worked. The science wasn't what changed. The funding was. Use butter. Use coconut oil. If the saturated fat argument still scares you, trace it back to its source. The origin story is not flattering. And now the one that surprises people the most, because it sounds so reasonable. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. You've heard this since childhood. It sounds like common sense. It's actually a marketing slogan. That exact phrase was created by Dr. Harvey Kellogg. Yes, the Kellogg's cornflakes guy. He was obsessed with reducing sexual drive in young men and believed that protein-rich cholesterol-containing morning meals, like eggs, stimulated hormone production. His solution was to replace eggs with a processed grain paste. The breakfast cereal industry was literally born from that mission. And the Rockefeller Foundation reinforced the 3 meals a day structure around 1913 to keep factory workers on a predictable schedule. That's the foundation of what you've been told, is nutritional wisdom. The current science on fasting is more nuanced than most people realize. Meta-analyses do show that fasting produces similar outcomes to simple caloric restriction. Fasting isn't a magic bullet. But there are things that happen during extended fasting periods that don't happen when you just eat less. After roughly 18 hours without food, your body starts releasing growth hormone. Autophagy increases. Your cells begin breaking down misfolded proteins. This matters enormously for brain health because neurons can't be replaced. The oldest verified human lived to 122. Her first brain cells were formed before she was born. Those cells have to last. Autophagy is how they do it. When you eat 3 meals plus snacks throughout the day, you're never triggering those processes. The body stays in a perpetual fed state. The mechanisms that clean and repair simply don't activate. You don't have to go straight to 16-8. Start with 12 hours. Let your body remember how to switch fuel sources. It will. It just needs time to relearn what it already knows how to do. Now, the 5th one. And this is the one nobody talks about. It's not what you eat. It's how. Research has looked at inflammatory markers in blood, specifically C-reactive protein and other inflammation indicators. People who eat the same food in a state of stress or negative emotion show measurably higher inflammatory responses than people who eat while relaxed and in positive company. same food. Different physiology. Oh! There's also something deeper here. Where your food comes from, how you prepare it, whether you actually know what you're eating. These things matter. A Saturday at the farmer's market with your family, talking to the people who grow your food, seeing what's in season, that's not just pleasant. It changes your relationship to food at a psychological level. You eat differently when you have a connection to what's on your plate. Mindful eating isn't a wellness trend. It's a framework for giving your body the conditions it needs to actually digest and absorb what you're consuming. Eating quickly, under stress, in front of a screen, these are not neutral acts. They have measurable consequences. So here's where we are. Seed oils shifted your omega ratio into a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation. Sugar rewired your dopamine system and is depleting your micronutrients. The fat you were told to fear is largely innocent, and the fat you were told was safe is not. The 3-meal structure was designed around factory schedules and cornflake profits, not human physiology. And how you eat, the emotional context, the connection to food, may matter as much as what ends up on your plate. Tomorrow, flip one product in your kitchen. Look at the ingredient list. Find the oil. If it's sunflower or soybean, replace it with butter or a quality olive oil. That's it. Start there. One switch. One switch! See how your body responds over the next 2 weeks. Which of these 5 surprised you most, or which one are you still skeptical about? Tell me in the comments. I'm especially curious about the breakfast myth, because that one tends to get a strong reaction. It's not fish oil? You'll want to see that one. If you want more content like this, no fluff, no filler, just what the research actually says, subscribing makes sense. I put something new out every week. Everything in this video is based on current research and personal experience, sharing information. It's not medical advice, and it's not a replacement for working with a qualified healthcare professional. If you have specific health concerns, please talk to someone who can look at your individual situation.